African-American woman of Jamaican descent with melanated skin and beautiful, kinky 4C hair that goes through my roots. I have short starter locks, and my way that I identify myself does not exactly fit the Eurocentric beauty standards. Identity to me is the way that I'm able to represent myself in whatever comfortable manner that I enjoy doing. And I would like to make sure that people around the world are able to identify themselves in whatever way that they want to. To me, I don't want to be equal to other people. I want the equal opportunity to express myself and reach the goals that I have without being held back by demographics such as my skin, my hair, the music I listen to. I want to identify myself by the things that I've accomplished and the things that I've learned. I like to get to know people based on their culture. I like to introduce myself, and I like to share my culture, the way I talk, my music, my hair, the way I dance, the way I carry myself. That is identity. However you want to represent yourself without the fear of people telling you that you cannot be simply because you don't fit a certain ideology in mainstream media.
I am a brown Middle Eastern Muslim woman immigrant whose passion for equality stems from the injustice my people have faced. My hijab represents my love for my religion, which has caused me to be kind and goal-driven. My Yemeni culture consists of great spices, Arabic music, beautiful clothing, and a close community, which has caused me to be prideful of my identity.
I am a biracial student with a passion for art and equality. My ancestors are from Nigeria, and because of my identity, I have seen and faced many inequalities. I want to make a change in our justice system by becoming a civil rights lawyer or a forensic scientist to help others who are facing inequality because of their identities. I am proud of who I am, where I'm from, and where I am going.
I'm a white Italian male who hates social conformities. I don't fit any social categories and hate being put in them. I'm rebellious, and many people think that I'm not nice, cold, or all around not fun to hang out with. None of that would be true. I like art and love getting to know people. Just because I don't fit social norms does not mean I'm any different than any of you.
The intersectionality of being Black and a woman. Black women are immediately written off as loud, ghetto, and aggressive, known as the angry Black girl. For me, identity has always been a struggle, constantly wondering how my outfit, the way my hair was styled, and my diction would impact the way people viewed me. So today, I get to write my own identity. Hi, my name is Tyleea Panye-Harley, and I'm an African-American girl from Liberia.
I'm Justin Connor, and I'm a biracial student at Irondequoit, and I was born in Sonoma, California. I have a passion for photography, writing, and soccer. Soccer's my life. I've seen several accounts of inequality in my life, and I hope to change the way people see me and the people around me. People don't usually see the African in me because of my skin being a lighter tone, but I am aware of the rich history that is in me, and I'm proud of who I am, my history, and my family history.
I'm an Eritrean American woman who's proud of her beautiful culture, diverse people, and rich heritage. My zealous drive for delivering justice and equitable opportunities for the underrepresented comes from the hatred and inequality I faced in my life. And through my creative direction and artistic abilities in photography and design, I hope to create voices and opportunities for other people to share their identity as well.
I feel like everybody's identity starts with their name as soon as they're born. So I was thinking to start it off, if everybody could go around and say the meaning behind their names, whether it be first, middle, last, everything. And I could go first. So my name is Selena Eyob, and my mom, she told me, well, actually, my brother and sister named me with my first name, and then my middle name is my mom's last name, and my last name is my dad's first name, which is kind of funky, but I'd say my first name, my mom told me it was my brother and sister picked it from the Bible, and it was a story describing a princess who originally she lived her life as a princess, but soon, later in her life, she decided to become a warrior and help serve her kingdom and fight for what's right. So that's the little story behind it.
Okay. My name is Marah. One of my aunts named me when I was in Yemen, and we usually have a few days before you can name your child, like you can hang out with them. And my aunts and my family realized I was very like cheerful, and so they named me Marah, Marah in Arabic, which means brings joy to others, which means like joyful. They just realized that I was kicking and like laughing and screaming, and they thought that would fit me perfectly.
My name is Megan, and it's the Welsh spelling, so it's Meghan, and it means pearl. And my mom named me that after my Welsh heritage. So.
All right. I don't have any cool meaning behind my name. My name is just Tyleea. I guess my last name Panye. I don't necessarily know where it came from, but my family is from Liberia. So I don't know if like someone picked that name up and they just created it.
My name is Catherine, and I was named after my great-grandmother.
My name's Noah, but my first name doesn't really have a whole lot of significance. My middle name's John, which is named after my dad, and then my grandpa on my mom's side, but that's about it.
I'm Justin, and in my first name, I was just named after my dad. And my middle name is named after my older brother, who unfortunately passed away because he was born too early.
My name is Anthony. I don't really have like any like really deep meaning behind my name. But yeah.
I'm Traci. I was named after my dad.
I'm Liliana. I'm my dad's two grandmothers' name kind of pushed together. One of his grandmother's names was Lily, and his other grandmother's name was Anna. So put them together, and it was Liliana.
My name's Imelda. My dad named me after Imelda Marcos. She was the first lady of the Philippines in the 60s, I think, and my name means powerful fighter.
So the first question to start off with is, please share the ways your family, friends, teachers, and other people in your life have helped to shape their identity, if at all. And I can go first again. I say from like since I was little, like all around my house, my mom and dad would like hang up like traditional paintings of Eritrea and Ethiopia. It'd be like big landscape pictures from like little tiny like portraits of like women holding like babies on their backs and everything. And even like after all of that, like my mom would always like make coffee at home. She would, from a very young age, teach me Tigrinya, which is like the native language in Eritrea. And like I would always be like dressed up in the clothing, and then it would just be like little tiny things around my house like I'd be influenced with, of like my own heritage, my culture from a very young age. So
I definitely think my family and friends have shaped my identity. I come from a very like cultured background. My parents always like pushed it on us to know our culture, know our language, and so I'm very prideful of that, and I think that has shaped a lot of my identity. My friends have allowed me to become more open and not be ashamed of where I am from. I've had incidents where I was like pushed down, but like I have friends who will be like, hey, don't do that, and like you got this, and it's your identity, and don't be ashamed of it. And so I really do think my friends and my family have shaped it in a good way. I do think the society and social media have shaped it in a negative way from their perspective. But then again, like my family and friends have allowed me to say, don't even think about that. Like you're you, and we see you this way. So don't think about how others view you.
For me, as far as family goes, like growing up, my mom, she always made sure that I like had black Barbie dolls and watched cartoons with black characters. And then every day when I came home from school, she made sure to tell me how beautiful I was and how beautiful my hair was. And she made sure to tell me to go to school and let all the other black girls with natural hair, let them know how beautiful they were. And as far as my friends, it's I've always been, I guess, just me. And my friends they're very supportive. They don't try to like put me in a box. They let me express myself freely. And they support however I choose to express myself.
Another you want to share?
Yeah, so my family's Kenyan, and in most African households, it's really advocated like education, going to college, and like studying something kind of like prestigious, like STEM, or being a doctor, engineer, lawyer, and stuff. And so when I was a kid, I wanted to do stuff within the arts and creativity, and I felt like they told me like I couldn't do that. I had to like just go on a straight path instead of like doing stuff like that. And over time, I kind of just gave up on wanting to becoming like those things, whether it was a singer or a dancer. So yeah.
One person that's always, inspired my identity is definitely my grandmother, because, she always had politics on. There was nothing else to watch besides that. So I just kind of got an interest. She teaches me about her life in Liberia, how things went, and how she grew up.
My family, I grew up in a really supportive household that tried to introduce me to all these different things ever since I was little, and exposed me to all these different cultures. So, and teach me that this is how the world is. We're supposed to be unified. We're supposed to do all these things. And you'll go out and you'll see all these ugly things, but in between it all, being just a small, almost playing piece in the game can really help change even the smallest little things, and it'll really, I think it'll help eventually if everybody just plays a little part.
I always grew up in a really supportive and diverse family. But ever since a young age, I've always wanted to be a professional athlete, as silly and unrealistic as it sounds. But I've always wanted to be one, and it was always my dream at a young age. So, but they always kept on saying it's unrealistic, so try and find something else that you're good at and focus on that. But yeah, I've always wanted to be a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm. A lot of parents want to live through their children, and I personally hate seeing that. It barely gives any room for creativity or giving your children opportunities of choosing what they want to be. And then the stigma of holding those expectations, they want to see you do great, but it's any mistake that you make could be oh, we're taking away this, or you're not going to be able to do this if you keep this up. The mistakes that you make are what make you. Nobody's going to be perfect. You're going to mess up even a lot, maybe even hit rock bottom, but even at your lowest points, you could be open to the greatest points of change. So that's definitely something.
My family, they've always taken us out to our grandparents, and they've had us listen to their stories about where they're from, and so then where we're from, and our heritage and stuff, and it's something that we talk about pretty regularly in our family, I think. And then my best friend since second grade, she's always helped me embrace who I am. So she's helped me a lot, and she always listens to me and my stories, and she helps me just be me.
As long as I know my dad's side of the family was always into music a lot. So since growing up, I listened to a bunch of kinds of music. And then in 4th grade, I was introduced to the music program through middle school. And I stuck through that all through high school. And I would say music is a big part of what I do today.
My family has always been super supportive of me, no matter what I've been going through. They're my biggest support, no matter if it's going through high school and having a hard test, or even going to college. My parents have always been really supportive of whatever I've been interested in, and have always supported me through any hardships that I've ever gone through. I feel like I take little pieces of each member of my family's personality, and I hold them very close to my heart.
Before we move on to the next part, I want to ask if as like, raise your hand if this applies to you, but has there like ever been like anybody or people in your life who have told you like you're not this or you'll never be this, or like they're telling you like this is what you're gonna do when you're older, like don't try to like move on to this or do anything you like? Does anybody want to share that experience, like briefly, if they're comfortable with it?
For me, it wasn't very blatant, like you can't, like you specifically as a person cannot do this. It would just be like microaggressions through teachers and stuff. Like there are not a lot of Black women in the science field, and I can remember science and Rogers and even Dake and talking about how I wanted to pursue science, and there are teachers that are like, oh, that's cool, you know, like there are not a lot of Black women that do that. And it's not like they told me I couldn't do it, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it kind of thing. And I guess if I wasn't me, like I've never been one to let people tell me what I can and can't do. And I never realized it till later, looking back, like the negative connotations that people have in their words. And it's not something that they mean to do, it's just internalized. Like they don't mean to be rude, that's just the way they see you in their mind. What's it called?
Yeah, like the bias, prejudice they have in their mind.
Prejudice.
Especially since like times have changed completely, but we still hold on to like a lot of
Hate and generational hate that we've had like for years and years. So like I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a lot of people's fault for who they are. It's just I say it's their fault in the way that they've let it overcome like who like they want to be, and like truly like how they're gonna grow and change.
Yeah, I've had people who are like, this is culture wise, and also like teachers that I've known, and I've had family members who are saying like, it's great that you're getting an education, because all of my family, my mom left school at I think sixth grade. My dad barely finished high school, and I've had people who are like, that's enough, you know, and it pushes me more to like be like, I want to go to college, I want to do this, and I want to make a living for me, but I also want to change something in this world. And this thing that like we don't have an education, and I don't see a lot of Muslim women going into college, because one, it might be their family, but two, it might be this push from society that they can't do that, or they should be doing something else.
Yeah, you know, like it kind of makes me wonder, like the question, like has anyone else ever kind of had someone kind of have a negative reaction towards the way that you were presenting yourself and your identity? Or even if it wasn't specifically you, have you ever seen that happening to anyone else?
In the media, you see a lot of people, or even like in the world, even a lot of people are kind of stuck, like especially older people are stuck in their ways, I guess. And they use many people like excuse their behavior by saying like, oh, they were born in a different generation, they were born in a different time, but they're still around today. And I think that they should really be more accepting and open and more open-minded. Like they're still here today and should learn that people are different, and that's an amazing thing.
When I was growing up, like in elementary school and stuff, and even still now, like people will be like, oh, like your hair is so frizzy, and it's like it is like the microaggressions and stuff about how like people with different hair and features, like they think that it's an unacceptable way to present themselves, when it's not always something you can fix. And I think that people need to realize that it's not their place to comment on other people's appearances, especially when it's a cultural thing.
Bouncing off of that, James Baldwin wrote that we carry our history with us. We are our history. And so if we carry our history with us, what is it that we are carrying, and how does that kind of speak on your identity?
I'd say personally, well, actually not personally, I don't really I'm not gonna say like, okay, no, it doesn't look. I say just all together as like humans, we carry just back to like the hate and everything. We carry a lot of the same things that we hold in the past, and then like we're all like species of change. Like we have to be able to adapt to the new things that we grow into and create. Being stuck with the same things that we've like developed in the past is not gonna help us evolve and like accept and like learn new things like as we're supposed to. And like being stuck in that little cycle is trapping us into what we've been so used to.
Yeah, adding on to that, I think definitely, and it connects back to the identity question. Like, I'm thankful that like the people I've been around, family and friends and stuff like that, have always been accepting of different people and have always like taught me and how to treat other people and not to generalize and stuff like that. But there's also plenty of people who have been raised the exact opposite, and so yeah, some of those things from our history are still carried down. Like how Liliana said, some of those people who were born in those past generations are still alive today. They taught their kids the same thing, so that's why some of that is still alive today.
And you say history, but for me, like the first thing when Traci read that was, how has our history not changed? There's so much that we've had in history that is literally the same thing. It might be just a little twist to it, with our school system, the things that we are taught. With for me personally, when I thought of history, it's the way my people have been treated. I think of, oh, like we're kind of getting better and we're not being as prejudiced and biased and racist towards my own kind. But then here you have France, who's trying to ban hijabs, and then you have China, who has concentration camps for people who are Muslim. So are we really progressing in our world, and are we really changing what our history is, or are we just kind of twisting it and hoping that's gonna become a little better in the future?
Bouncing off of that, it reminds me of this movie I was watching, and like just quick summary, it was like this thing comes down in levels and it brings food, and the people at the top get the food and the people at the bottom get nothing, and the only way to change it was with some random act. But basically people were trying to figure out what the point of the movie was, and some people were saying, well, it goes to show that if people, if they know what can change society, then they're gonna want to change it. Like that's the point of the experiment. But my take on it was like, especially with history today, it seems like it just keeps repeating itself, but in different ways. So it's kind of like the stuff that we learn in school, is that really to prevent history from repeating itself, or is it we're documenting this so we can learn how we treated this marginalized group of people and how we can transform the way that we oppress them into another kind of oppression where it's not so obvious, but we can still have it where we're benefiting from it. Like, it's not changing, it's kind of just evolving into a different kind of oppression.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like there are definitely some flaws in the school system and definitely some major gaps in the way history is taught, especially American history. So I definitely agree with that.
Going back to what Traci said, I think I've seen a movie that she's talking about, The Platform.
Yeah,
it's a really good movie. It's really interesting, and it's a different way of looking at it, because basically food starts at the top and there are 100 levels, and as the food goes down, people only have a limited amount of time to eat. The thing is, if people only ate as much as they wanted, then everyone would have enough food. But the thing is, as it goes down, people are just eating and eating and eating until the people at the lower levels have no more food. And the way I took that movie is that people in power don't realize how their actions affect people who don't have a voice or don't have the opportunities that they have. So it was an interesting concept, because each month they would switch floors, and people at the lower levels that had been at higher levels didn't take into consideration the people up there aren't gonna give me food because I didn't give them food, or they don't consider how next month they could be in a different position and didn't spread the kindness that they should have.
I think people in power do realize it, they just don't care.
My identity is
beautiful,
powerful,
different,
inspiring,
strong,
innovative, unique,